Are you ready to transform your normal e-commerce business into one that experiences exponential growth year after year using online advertising? If so, this show is for you. Me and my guests will show you how you too can grow your e-commerce business to 7 or even 8 figures so you can go on more luxurious vacations, spoil yourself and your family, say yes to more opportunities, and become financially free so you never have to worry about money again. Welcome to the E-commerce Performance Marketing Show. Hey, how's it going, guys? Josh Moser here, host of the E-com Performance Marketing Show. And I've got another incredible guest. I'm bringing it to you every single week. And I've got the guy right here in front of you. I've got Chris Orzechowski. Now, Chris is a phenomenal copywriter and email marketing strategist. He's helped numerous e-com companies be able to scale and grow by using his copywriting and his email marketing strategies. He's also the author of Make It Rain, which is a great book, great title, and I definitely recommend that you check it out. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Josh. Excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you, man. Before we dive into the content and the value that you're going to provide to the audience today, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so like most people, I didn't find the marketing field until after I already started working. My former job, I used to be a school teacher, and before that, a bouncer and a bartender. So I didn't know anything about marketing really, but I knew that, I had a mentor, the strength coach of mine, and he sold ebooks and had this online business. And I was like, what the hell is that all about? Online business, how do you just use the internet to make money? So I tumbled down that rabbit hole and eventually learned all about copywriting. And I always loved to write from my whole life. And I was like, wow, people get paid to just put words in a Google Doc and give that to someone. And then they take those words and they put it on their website or they put it in email, and then thousands of dollars appear out of nowhere. I was like, sign me up. I gotta learn all about this whole thing.
Right.
So yeah, I just really went super deep into it and loved it. And I started doing a lot of work with clients because I didn't have my own business. And I basically was working a 40-hour week building my copywriting business on the nights and weekends after I would get home from my teaching job. And I did that for a number of years before I finally started making more from the business than I was from the day job. And then I quit the day job. So I left a few years ago. I'd never looked back, and now business is booming. So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Cool. Well, what about your early days when you first got started? What were those like? And, what type of challenges or struggles did you have to really get over to get to where you're at right now?
Oh man, how much time we got? There were a lot. Obviously the main struggle is clients, because that old catch-22, you need clients to get clients because people want to know that you have experience, what you're doing, but you can't have that unless you've got a few projects on your belt. So getting started was difficult. Time management was difficult. But just also learning how to really sell. And I think a big shift for me happened, a lot of people, you could buy a copywriting book and you could write copy. Structurally, it can be correct. You can have the headline and the subhead and the story section and the bullets, and you could have everything correct structurally, but it might just not hit, right? Mm-hmm. And what I learned after a very long time was that if I want my ads and my copy, my emails to work correctly, I have to really, really, really know the market. But I'm not one of those people who likes to go, if some copywriters, they'll spend 3 months researching a product, and that's awesome. And that is, hats off to those people, but I don't have time to do that. So what I would always do, if I wanted to make sure my copy converted and I could actually sell the product I was trying to sell and do an awesome job for my clients, I would actually go out and buy the product myself. And it might not be that exact product from that exact company. I remember years ago, I worked for a watch company called Philippe Loretti. We did a huge launch on Kickstarter, $5.2 million in 30 days. It was, I think back then, not now, but back then it was the 18th biggest Kickstarter project of all time. It was crazy. But before I started working on that project, I actually went and shopped for a watch. I don't really wear a watch. I wound up buying one for my wife, but I wanted to talk to a salesperson. I wanted to think what thoughts are going through my head as I'm making this buying decision. And in that moment, when you actually have to go and buy, as you're reaching and pulling out your credit card, and those thoughts and those questions and those objections, come up in your mind, that's where your best piece of copy come. And that's when you start to realize, oh, here's the most important benefit. Here's what people really care about when they buy these things. And so that has always been my approach as much as possible. One of the copywriters I coached the other day, he said, hey, I'm trying to write for the golf market. There's this golf company and they hired me and I don't know anything about golf. I said, go golfing. It's not hard. Go buy the product. And I think for a lot of people, like if you're a business owner, you might even be super close, like way too close to your product, and you've been selling it for years and you almost become jaded or desensitized a little bit and you forget. But if you go out and actually buy from a competitor, buy from another brand and just see what that's like, you'll get so many good copy ideas. The copy writes itself.
Totally, man. I love what you said about the research part. Can you unpack that a little bit and maybe go over some tips that you'd like to share with the audience when it comes to researching and prepping, messaging and copy that you use with your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So it comes down to like a handful of questions that you have to answer. I mean, the one question is like, what is the problem that we're trying to solve? And you really need to understand that problem. So for instance, if we use the watch example, like that's not really like a life and death type problem, right? But there is a problem being solved. The problem is they want status. They want to appear a certain way. They want to have a certain identity, or you want to maybe get ahead of the other people, the guy in the cubicle next to you. So like, there's a lot of kind of little tiny, like little problems you have to uncover.
Yeah, on the surface level, companies sometimes miss that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's just, I just want to, have a conversation too, not just, ask questions and listen, but, but you're absolutely right though, and a lot of e-com businesses, they're selling, whether it's watches or something, they got to think bigger, and you're basically going over how to think bigger about a watch.
Yeah. And, like we're working with a supplement company right now. And one of the things that, I have been lifting for like half my life and I'm kind of a bro in that regard. So like, I'm very in
nice.
Tune with that whole, like,
hey, it's all good, man. I just did 100 burpees for my 100th day in a row today.
Oh, God bless it, man. I don't know if I'd do that. I'd stick to the machines, but I'm doing research. Yeah, that's tough. But I'm doing research for this client, and I was looking at what they were doing before, and what they were doing before wasn't bad. We're selling their supplements and doing, here's what's in this one, and here's this ingredient, and this study said this. I'm like, that's not bad. I mean, it's selling, it's working, but like, how do we get to the core of the problem, or the core desire, the core outcome? And that's kind of the next thing. The first thing I said was like, you got to figure out what the problem is. The next thing is like the outcome that people want. And I try to make all my copy and all my emails very outcome focused. So like what we're doing with this client, as I've been researching, I was like, these dudes are not like regular people. Like, this is a super hardcore supplement brand. Like, they're not regular Joe schmoes at the gym who are just like, yeah, I want to do my 3 sets of 10 and get the hell out of here and go drink a beer. Like, these are dudes who live it, and the outcomes that they want are very different. So like, we wrote this email the other day that was all about like, it was like F being normal. And it was all about like, the kind of work you do, like the work you put in the gym, the body you're trying to build, the life you're trying to live. It was just a very like inspirational story, like, email that was designed to like resonate with their identity. It crushed. It did absolutely amazing. Much better than the previous emails they'd sent, where they're like, here's the supplement and here's the 3 ingredients and why they're good. So, kind of future pacing for people and showing that positive outcome that they want. Like, once you identify the problem, it's like getting them away from, the pain or the problem in their life to that ideal outcome. That's like usually the second thing that I always like to look for.
Yep. Nice. Love it, man. Those are some incredible tips. And what you're going over is like, super just powerful when it comes to writing copy that can do really, really well for e-commerce companies. So right now, tell the audience like what exactly like you're doing and what you specialize in and how you help other e-com businesses.
Yeah. So, we do the work that we do in my agency. The one thing that we do best is e-commerce email automation. So basically any kind of behaviorally triggered flows, we have a whole set of flows that are a pretty standard package we like to implement with most clients. Obviously every client's a little different depending on if they have a consumable or non-consumable, or, there's all kinds of nuance to it, but we basically go in, and the emails that we create are not always the most pretty emails. Like, they're not going to win an award for design, but they will have much better copy, and copy that people will A, actually read and look forward to, and B, reply back and say that they love it and just rave about your brand. And they'll do those things as they're reaching for their credit card and pulling out and buying. And that's what we really enjoy, like taking the brands that we work with, taking their voice. And most of our clients, that's what they come to us for. They say, we're doing okay. We're not doing bad. Like, we're growing, we're making sales. Every time we send an email, we're making some money, but it just feels transactional. Or like every day we're running another sale, and it's like people are tuning out and our open rates are falling, and like people hate our emails. That's the big thing. Like, people hate our emails. We want people to love our emails. And you know how it is with e-commerce. I mean, retention is such a big issue because it's okay. Anyone can, if you have a decent product, anyone can get a customer the first time, but how do you get that customer coming back the second, the third, the fifth, the 10th, the 20th time, right? Like that is going to come from them loving your brand and loving your emails and loving your copy, right? When they open up one of your emails, you know, I just got the Hey email app. I don't know if, you know, if you heard that by Basecamp. It's like this, it like just came out today.
Okay.
Yeah. And like the one feature that they have, and it was so like just eye-opening for me to get it, because every single time you sign up for a listing, a new email, you decide, do I want emails from this company or not? So it has this like filter. So if you say yes, then you decide, is this go in the main inbox? Does this go in the marketing email feed? Or does this go in like the receipt feed? And in that moment, you know, a lot of companies, they just send, oh, pretty picture, button, discount, discount, discount. And they just ram a sale down your throat every single week. Those aren't going to end up in the main inbox. They're going to go in that marketing inbox, or they're just going to screen them out. So it's just signing up for that and seeing the filter. I was like, man, like that's why clients come to us, because they want that great copy that people read and they love the stories and they resonate in the brand and it's fun. So I know that's a very long-winded way of answering the question. I'm sorry, I kind of ramble sometimes.
No, not at all, man. No, it's good. It's all good. You know, you're bringing up a solid point here that it's not about just ramming an offer down someone's throat over and over and over. And, you know, marketers sometimes make that mistake. You know, it's about having value first, but, you know, of course you do want to make the offers, but you want to have value first. And, you know, do you have like maybe some sort of like sweet spot between the frequency of like value versus offers that you recommend to e-commerce businesses out there when it comes to using email?
Yeah, I do. So it's kind of like a two-pronged approach, right? Like I think the base level for everyone is like get basic automations, cart amendment, browse amendment, welcome, win back VIP. You know, that whole, everyone knows the common ones that they should have, whether they have them or not. So like once you have those, you kind of layer on your broadcast. I call it a pay yourself first campaign, because every time you send an email, you're generating cash for yourself. You're putting money in your pocket. That's like the first thing I like to do every day, or have to tell my clients to do that. But everyone, it's kind of different, right? Like some people, I've talked to people where they want to email every day and they absolutely crush it. And my own list, I email every day, and people don't get tired, because I don't know about you, but there's times when I'm like, you know, it's 7 o'clock at night and I'm looking through my inbox. I'm like, that email was from this morning, you know, from this, because you get 100 of them a day. So you almost like forget. So emailing once a day, I don't think is that bad, but not everyone's comfortable. Some people only want to email once a week. Some people want to email 3 times a week. It's hard for me to give a blanket recommendation. I always say, gradually ramp up the frequency until you get to a point where it's sustainable for you, it's enjoyable for you, it's enjoyable for your readers, and you're making good profits. And some people might find, you know, it's kind of like some people are like, you got to email every day. And some people are like, you only should email once a month. I'm like, well, neither of those might necessarily make sense. The one thing I'll say is that frequencies are like, if you're only emailing once a month, I don't know. I think you're going to get forgotten, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. You know, so I did, I know you were a big part of my previous summit that we just got done with a few months ago, but I did a e-commerce success summit back in 2017. And this guy, Tyler Merritt of Warrior Media, I believe, great guy, but he just over delivered during his masterclass. So he went over this, this test that he ran, and I think you're going to love this, and so will the audience. So this test was, I'm going to compare the previous 30 days where I sent 1 email a day to the next 30 days where I send 2 emails a day. And I'm going to see like how that affects the bottom line, you know, sales, how it affects email deliverability, how it affects open rates, click-through rates. And he saw very, very minimal impact to like opens, clicks, complaints, spam, deliverability, but he saw double the sales.
That's awesome.
That's
I'm start doing that myself.
I know, it just tells you like frequency, like, you know, of course there's going to be some people that are going to be like, what are you doing emailing me twice a day? Stop doing that, you know? You know, and you can't make everybody happy, you know, but, you know, if you have a good email marketing strategy, like what you just shared, you know, because you're an expert in this, you know, and you have that value first approach, you know, I think that could work very, very well, you know, if implemented properly using some of what you're saying today.
Yeah, I mean, like there's lists, and you're probably on similar lists, like Brooks Brothers is one company who, and I always pick on them, and I like their clothes. They're probably great people, but like I'll get like 6 emails a day from them sometimes. But the emails, listen, if it's good content, that's fine. But the emails just like, buy this shirt 30% off, buy these pants 30% off, buy these shoes 30% off, and I'm like, oh my god, everything is 30% off every single day, all the time. Like I don't need to read these anymore. But that's the thing. Like if you're sending that good content, and you're telling stories, and like one thing I tell a lot of business owners, just like what's going on on at HQ? What's going on the factory floor? Like what are you guys working on? What's coming next month? What did you guys do this past week? And anyone share any stories? Like there's just so many like quick and easy email things. People love that stuff. They love feeling like an insider, like they're like behind the scenes, even if it's something they don't buy often, they just genuinely appreciate that. And it's cool and it's interesting. And so few companies do that. And, but the frequency thing, yeah, I mean, like everyone has that sweet spot. But I'm always a proponent of doing it more, because the thing too is like, if you're afraid to email your list, that's totally fine. That's fine. But your competitors probably aren't. So there's going to become a point in time when that person on your list, you know, thousands of people probably on your list, but one person, let's zoom in on one person, they're gonna be making that buying decision and say, well, this one company's in my inbox all the time, so they're top of mind. This other company, even if they have a better product, I haven't heard from them in a while, forgot about them, completely out of mind, who's gonna win the sale, right? So it's kind of like you have to a little bit.
Totally. Yeah, totally, man. So what's been like your biggest ecom success to date, you know, result wise? And maybe we can kind of talk about that and share some of the tips and strategies from that success. This way the audience can learn from you and some of the success that you had.
Yeah. So in terms of like biggest numbers, that would probably be the Filippo Already, that watch company. And we did their campaign maybe 2016, I think was the first one we did. And then we helped them on, so they had done a previous Kickstarter. We helped them with their second and with their third. And the second one we did like 5.2 million USD in 30 days. And we kind of recycled and updated the campaign the following year. And that did like another 4.4. So between those two campaigns, it was like around $10 million, give or take, depending on currency conversions at a given time. Yeah, it was nuts. I didn't get a lot of other work done that month, because I just kept refreshing the Kickstarter page. I was like, this is incredible. Like, this is nuts. But what we did, it's so funny, because what we did for that campaign is we just sent a lot of plain text emails, and we kind of had a good solid we built a pre-launch list. They had some existing customers, small list of existing customers, but we started just telling stories and weaving these things in and telling the origin story of each of one of the collections. Like, all of these designs were based on one was based on there's the Venice collection and the Milan collection. And we just kind of told these cool origin stories about like why we created these products and like what the inspiration was, instead of just being like, hey, here's a watch, go buy the watch, right? Like what 90% of people do. We took people behind the scenes, and just like I said, we kind of brought them into the process so they felt like they were part of it. And we told a bunch of the stories. We opened the cart, made like 109 grand the first hour, and then the first 24 hours was like 250 grand. Yeah, it was like stupid. I was like, this is incredible. Nice. Yeah, I mean, they had a great team. They were doing Facebook ads. Obviously Facebook ads were a lot cheaper back in 2016 compared to what they are now, but it was pretty incredible experience. And that was kind of what I wasn't strictly focusing on ecom back then. I was kind of just taking any kind of client. But after that, I was like, that worked really well. Like maybe I should work with more of these ecom companies, because so many of them, they just don't understand like what good email really is, right? Like they understand how to run a sale, but they don't understand how to build that relationship and do the storytelling and everything else that we know.
Like real marketing, right? Yeah, totally. I know. I recognize that a long time ago too, and that's why I pivoted at one point and focused on ecom. So yeah, I was in the same shoes. Like I started in 2013 as kind of a freelancer, basically, in a way. And I had a brand, and I was getting clients and doing marketing automation and email and things like that. And then eventually, after successes over the first few years, I had to kind of choose, and I felt like I was like, you know what, I really love helping ecom companies, because I see there's a gap there and they don't really get marketing, and I can really fill that gap for them. And sounds like we took a similar approach. That was an incredible result that you just shared. I mean, that was, in 1 hour, 109, was it? 109,000? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
That's crazy. So what went into the prep? What went into like the strategy? Like what did you contribute to that led to that result?
Yeah, so a lot of the messaging, a lot of, the USP, all of these stories. I mean, once we did that pre-launch, which was about 2 weeks, give or take. We didn't send an email every day, but just about every day, probably sent about, 8 or 9 of those. And then once the campaign was live, then we were sending broadcasts every other day, sometimes every day, depending, towards the last week we were sending every day, and then multiple times the last few days, as you get down to 72, 48, 24 hours, 6 hours, right? And you want to send a lot of emails then. But so it was a lot of the strategy, and we were doing things like we were using open loops in the emails and starting a story in one email and, you know, finishing it 2 days later and like just keeping people on the edge of their seat. And it was a lot of copy. I'm not gonna lie, man. It was, and this was back when I was still teaching. So like I was waking up, you know, my clients were in Europe. So I was waking up at 5 a.m. to take calls from Europe and then going to work and then like writing copy on my lunch break. And then, but I just hustled and did what I had to do to get, you know, this monstrous amount of copy done. And we did the Facebook ads too, and the upsells, package inserts. There was a lot. I just remember it was a lot. It was a very big Google document.
Well, you know, I grabbed a few things from that. You know, for one, I would love for the audience to learn what open loops are. So do you want to go ahead and do the honors?
Yeah. So an open loop is like, if you're watching a TV show, like let's say you're watching, you know, Game of Thrones, and like, you know, someone like dies right at the end of the episode and then they roll the credits and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. Like what's going to happen next week? That's what an open loop is essentially.
Yes.
So you could do that. Yeah, you could do that. And people have been doing this. Howard Gossage was a marketer who was alive in like the, you know, his heyday was like in the 50s and 60s. And this dude, it's funny, like I always thought this was a new concept invented in like the TV era, but this guy was doing it with print ads back in like the 50s, where he would just end an ad mid-sentence and then people would be like, where's the rest of the ad? And then next week they'd tune in and they'd see the continuation. And he would do series of these things. And it worked like crazy. Like people were talking about it. It was nuts. So it's a very powerful concept where you just kind of loop people in and keep their attention from email to email. So you don't give them that resolution at the end of the email. You say, you know, you get to almost the climax of the story and then you say, and I'm going to tell you the rest about it tomorrow. Make sure you stay tuned. And then you sign off. And then people are like, oh my God, they have to, you know, learn more. And it really trains people to just pay attention to your copy. That's one thing I've noticed is like your open rates over time get higher and higher because people always want to see what you have to say.
Totally. Love it. Thank you for sharing that. I love the Game of Thrones reference too. It was a great show. Okay. So, and also I loved your story on how you just doubled that. You hustled, you doubled down. You were like, you know what? Yes, I'm working full time. Yes, I'm teaching, but this is my dream. This is my goal. I'm going to make it happen. And I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to during lunch, I'm going to write copy. After work, I'm going to write copy. I'm going to work till midnight. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? So like, I just love that example of hustle and how you had to do that to get to where you're at now. And that's just really inspirational. You know, I think that the audience, you know, some of the people watching this are probably trying to get into e-commerce, or they're young in e-commerce, and they're probably in that same situation that you were in years ago, where you were working full time and hustling outside of that. So, you know, that was just incredible. You know, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. Like, and it's easy to look around now and you see there's so many just people online, people doing what we do. And it seems like everyone is just like, everyone's an overnight success. And that, because when you go through social media, it's like warp speed through everyone's success stories, right? Yep. And it almost is like frustrating. You feel like down on yourself, but like, you know, Josh, when you started in 2013, like no one knew who you were. And now you have this audience, you have this awesome business. Same thing with me. Like I didn't have a list. I didn't have a website. I didn't have any of this stuff. And anyone who's listening, if you have an e-commerce business, you might start with one product and like a basic Shopify site or something like that. Yeah. And one Facebook ad that's running. And I know a guy who started that. Now he's got a business that's, you know, he took it from scratch in about a year to over $1 million a year in revenue. And it's still growing. And he started with one product, literally one product, one Facebook ad, one sales page, and then just started growing it. So like, yeah, it's tough. It's like, I'm not one of those people who's like, yeah, man, just work like an hour a day and like, you're good. Like, and you know, you go to the beach with your laptop. Like, I'm the, you know, just like you, like a real dude. It's like, no, this is going to take some work. Like you might have to stay up till midnight. You might have to wake up early. Like it's going to suck for a little bit, but then it's like, you only have to cross that chasm once. That's what I found. It's like, once you cross that chasm, even if you sell that business, even if it goes or whatever happens, right? Like, you know how to build it back the second time quicker. You know, like you have those skills now and you have that experience, and like, it just it's like riding a bike, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love everything you just said. And the thing is that, you know, that's the name of the game too, is just, you know, getting to that point where you cross that chasm. And in e-commerce, you know, you sell an e-com business, you can get like a 6 to 10x multiple of what it's worth. So if you get it to, you know, let's just say 500,000 a year, even, you know, I mean, you know, you can get 6x on that possibly, you know, by flipping it and selling it on like flippa.com, empirebuilder.com, the Shopify exchange marketplace. And you're right, man, you know, you have to hustle, you know, and work to get to that chasm, you know, and it might take years. It's not going to be an overnight thing. You know, you have to really be determined. And the thing is that I'm sure you can attest to this too, but when you're passionate about what you do and you're passionate about your success, you don't care if you have work-life balance or not. You know, if anything, you know, your life is like this at times, you know, you have some good high points of quality time with, you know, loved ones or friends, family, whatever, fun. But then you also have heavy times where you have tons of work where you're working till midnight because you're driven, you're focused, and you want to make something happen, you know, right?
Oh yeah. And I'm glad you said that, because I totally agree. Like it's hard. Like I've never had work-life balance ever in my life. You know, even when I was like in high school, like I was a wrestler, and like every moment that I wasn't at school or doing homework, I was training, you know? So like, I don't know, you know, I'm sure everyone's a little bit different, but like, if you want to, my thing is always like, what the hell are you supposed to do with your time here on earth? Right? Like what, you know, you could just veg out and do whatever and just kind of, that's fine. A lot of people do that. Totally cool. A lot of people don't want to venture in entrepreneurship. I don't blame those people at all. It's rough, you know, but like for me, and I'm sure you too, it's like we're young dudes. It's like, okay, well, what do you want to do for the next 30 or 40 years of your life? Like, what do you want to build? Do you want to, you know, it's not, of course it's not going to be easy, but it might be a little fun. It might be a little scary. It might be a little exciting. It might be a little nerve wracking at times, but like, that's what makes life awesome, right? When you look back at the end and say, wow, I actually took the time and risked a little bit. And maybe I was a little crazy. Maybe I was a little stupid, but hey, that worked out. And that was kind of fun. Like you're never going to look back no matter what happens. That's what, like I've had failures. I'm sure you had too. Everyone's listening to this has had failures and things in business and stuff that didn't work and things that were frustrating, but like, that's what makes life exciting. At least that's what I think. Like, that's when you, like, I just know, I look back and I'm like, man, I laugh at the, you know, when I was starting out and trying to cold email people to get clients, I'm like, I was so dumb back then, but like, it was so funny. And look at how I've evolved, you know?
Sure. Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, so I got a good question for you. So what are 3 of your like best strategies or tips that you can share with the audience when it comes to, you know, what you do and how you help e-com companies scale and grow?
Yeah. So tip number 1 is definitely just think through behaviors that people either execute or don't execute. And that's where you kind of start. So like you could look up cart abandonment templates and things like that, but like there's so many different behaviors that people could do. Like there's the obvious ones, but start plugging those holes in your bucket. I'd say that's the first and most important thing. Like it's almost like there's a lot of e-commerce business owners who have nothing in place. And it's almost like they're lighting thousands of dollars on fire every single day. Money that could be theirs, that like wants to go into their business, but they don't have the right follow-ups in place that they're just not capturing. And every single day that goes by, they're essentially taking money out of their own pockets. So plug up all the holes that your behavioral automations can, you know, like those are the things that'll plug the holes in your bucket. The second thing is just get into the habit of writing consistently to your list and be getting that dialogue and not being afraid of, am I doing this right? Am I, you know, is my voice good? Is my copy great? Like you're going to get better in time if you just continue to grease the groove. It's kind of like compound interest. It's like the more, you know, like I know for me, like when I started writing emails to my list back in 2016, they sucked. They were terrible. But like now everyone's like, oh my God, Chris Orzechowski, great email copywriter. And I'm like, hey, thanks. But it took me a while. It took me thousands of emails to get to this point, and it's going to take you too, you know?
But the reps in, right?
Well, that's what it is. It's just getting stronger. Yeah, it is a muscle, you know. And it's funny. Like about a year and a half ago, one of my really good friends, Abby Woodcock, she was like, you know, I had already been writing emails to my list like daily for 2 years. She's like, you know what, you're finally starting to like hit your stride here. I was like, oh, good. It only took me, you know, 2 years doing this. I mean, granted, it probably won't take, you know, if you have a business and you've been in business for a while and you know your customers and you've been doing other kinds of marketing, it probably won't take you that long. But it's just one of those things where like it compounds over time. You just get better and better, and you build that strong bond with the most important people in your world, who are your customers and the people on your list who read your stuff. And then the third thing I would say is just I don't know, that's a good one. I would say make your write like you talk, and make your stuff as conversational as possible, because
I like it.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, and I think it translates if you're doing Facebook ads, if you're doing other kinds of, you know, you don't want these like stuffy corporate like attention customers of whatever business, like we have an announcement. Like no one really talks like that, like in an email or even like in a social feed. Like you're used to people just talking normally, like we're talking right now. So I think a lot of people, like they need to put on this facade, or they need to put on this like act when they're doing their marketing. But people buy from people. That's what people enjoy. Like I know that there's brands where if I feel a connection with the person, with the owner, or whoever's sending me the emails, or whoever I'm getting the marketing from, and I know their story and I know a little bit about them, I'm always going to be more interested in buying from them rather than some nameless, faceless corporation where I don't feel any connection at all.
Right. Totally. Yeah. And, I love that you made that point, and also the first tip, because, you're basically telling e-commerce business owners that they need to put themselves out there. They need to be the face of their own brand, because, people buy from people. They don't buy from brands. They buy from people. And that's also a competitive differentiator when you are a small business versus some of the big brands out there, is by being more personal. So I love that you gave some tips about being human, being personal, and having like that type of approach to your email marketing. So thank you for, saying that. It was awesome. All right, last round here, and then we're going to wrap this up. I want to be respectful of your time. So this is a bonus round that we do with every guest. And basically, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you have to answer each question with only one word.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. What caused your biggest e-com success to date?
I'm sorry, can you say it again? I missed the first part.
It's okay. What caused your biggest e-com success to date?
Hustle.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, you showed it. You went over your story.
Just hustling. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a tough one. I've never been asked that one before.
Okay. What advice do you have for other e-com business owners?
Frequency.
There we go.
Just
nice. Okay.
Send more emails. Like that. That's the long version, but frequency. I always say frequency is your friend. So
totally. Absolutely, man. And then how would you describe yourself?
Hardworking.
Okay. 2 words, but that's fine. All right.
So I wasn't sure if it was one of those where they put the word hyphen together, or there's a dash. Yeah, hyphen. Yeah.
We'll say it's a hyphen. Don't worry about it, man. It's cool.
Okay.
And then what do you see in your future?
Wealth.
Like it. Awesome, man. Well, let the audience know right now, like, how can they follow you, learn more from you, subscribe to your email list, learn some of your strategies, some of your tactics, and also how can they even hire you for help with their e-com businesses as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So my main website is the emailcopywriter.com, and you can buy my book on Amazon, or which if you want to, or you can just get a free copy on my site. I give it to you if you sign up for my list. And then also what I do every single week is I publish this thing called Email of the Week. I take an awesome e-commerce email and I break it down and show you all the strategies that went into the copy and why it works so well, and do it in a way that you can kind of adapt it for your own emails and take those strategies and make more sales. I publish a new one every single week, and that's free to just tune in and watch and enjoy. And then if you'd like to work with me and my team, you could just there's a little work with me tab. You just click that button, fill out a short application. We'll reach out and let you know what we think and hop on a call. So.
Perfect. Okay. Sounds good. So guys, emailcopywriter.com. Go check out Chris, check out what he's doing. Obviously he's a guy that really knows his stuff when it comes to email marketing, and he's been hustling since 2016, and he's one of the best out there, and he's really rising the ranks right now. So he's hot. So take advantage of him now before he's too hot and you can't hire him because he's too expensive. So also check out his book, Make It Rain. You can actually just subscribe to his email list and you get a free copy. That's an incredible free offer. So just go to emailcopywriter.com and subscribe to his list, and you'll be able to get a free copy of Make It Rain. So hey, Chris, thank you.
The emailcopywriter.com.
The email. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
all good.
Okay. The emailcopywriter.com. Cool. All right, Chris. So thank you so much for being on the show today. Truly appreciate it, guys. Go check out Chris. Go to theemailcopywriter.com. Get a copy of his free book, Make It Rain. So this way you can make it rain in your e-commerce business.
Thanks so much, Josh. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. That was fun. Did you have fun?
Oh, dude, that was great. Yeah, that was good. You're good at this.
I guess. Well, thanks, man. I truly appreciate you being on here, man, and all your support and, supporting the book too yesterday. We made it international bestseller.
Dude, That's great.
I know. I'm still like digesting it. I just kind of found out this morning. So, and I haven't even had a chance to interact with anybody about it.
Is it still on sale, or was it just the one day?
It is still on sale. I do have to update the price. I'm actually gonna probably say, you know what, because of the demand, because of us, selling so much of the book on day one, I'm gonna decide to keep the price at 99 cents until Sunday, and then on Sunday I'll basically increase the price at that point. So if you want it, go here. I'm gonna have some sort of campaign like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll plug it again then. That's what I was asking.
Oh, nice. Thanks, man.
Yeah, and then whenever this comes out, I will email the shit out of this to my list. Don't you worry about that. I'll definitely promote this too.
Cool. Well, do it, man. I'll tell you what. So we had a guest drop earlier this week, and so you're actually going to be published tomorrow.
Oh, sick. Perfect. That's great.
We give you all the swipe copy though. So we'll have our copywriter jump on it today, and they'll start getting everything done, and then they'll get over everything to you tomorrow. This way you can use it to promote this episode to your list. Okay,
perfect. Yeah, I'll probably mail Saturday because tomorrow's when I send out the email of the week. But dude, yep. Yeah, I'll definitely. I get my list is growing. It's pretty responsive. So
nice.
Like with the summit, I was like, get your fucking ass on the summit. And everyone's like, yes, sir. Like, we're doing it. And they fucking loved it, by the way. I had people they were like thanking me. They're like, thank you for turning me on to this, dude. Like, he knows his shit. I was like, yeah, man, he's a fucking good guy.
That's awesome, man. So, I appreciate it. Is there anything I can do to support you? I mean, anything at all?
I don't know, man. Not right now, I guess, but.
Okay. We'll think about it. Let me know, let me know.
Okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm just excited to get this thing out, and I really enjoyed the interview, and I think people are going to love it. So
nice. Well, good, man. Well, sounds good. Well, I'll definitely make sure that, you're notified when the episode is live, and also you'll get all the swipe files. And again, if there's anything I can do to support you, just reach out, let me know. I'm happy to do so. And we'll definitely have to get together at some event in the future when there is actually events, and we'll probably have to catch a workout too.
Yeah, definitely, man. Let's do that.
Sounds good. Cool. All right, man. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again for being on.
Thanks, Josh. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Later, man.
Later.
Thank you for tuning into the e-commerce performance marketing show. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment with a timestamp of your favorite part and share it with a friend. Until our next episode, here's to you and the success of your e-commerce business.